Let's talk about Mergesort. What is the idea of Mergesort? Let's take this deck of cards and the task is we have to sort it. How can we do that? Let's assume we have an assistant who can help us. The natural idea is let's divide the problem into two parts, and let's divide this deck of cards into these four cards and into these four cards, and I can sort this deck of cards and my assistant can sort this deck of cards. If I have done my job, this would be the result. If my assistant has done his job, this would be the result. What does it help if we have these two deck of cards which are sorted? It helps in that way. We can merge the two sorted decks. Let's compare these two cards. Take the smaller one. Let's compare these two cards. Let's take the smaller one. Let's compare these two cards. 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 Now this deck is empty. If this deck is empty, the other cards are the only one remaining. This deck was sorted, so we can take the remaining cards and without any work put them here, and now we have a sorted version of our deck of cards. But let's analyze a little more in detail. We split the deck of cards and we said, okay, we will sort this deck of cards and this one will be sorted by our assistant. But how do we sort? We can sort recursively by again using the principle of Mergesort. What is the principle of Mergesort? The principle is split the deck and sort this part and sort that part. How to sort this deck of cards? Let's split and let's independently sort this deck of cards and that deck of cards. If we have a deck of cards consisting of only one single card, then we don't have to do anything. A deck of cards consisting of one single card is always sorted. And the same here. So now we have two decks of cards which are sorted. Let's merge. Take the smaller one. This deck is empty. Let's take all the remaining cards and we have a sorted version. Let's split. One card sorted, one card sorted. Now merge. Take the smaller one, empty, take the remaining cards. That. Now we are in the situation. We had four cards and we split the deck. We sorted these cards and now we merge again. Let's compare smaller one. Let's compare smaller one. Let's compare smaller one. Empty, take all the remaining cards and we are here. How to sort this deck of cards? Let's split. Here we have an odd number, but that is no problem. Let's say the first two and the last three. And now let's sort these two. Split. One card sorted, one card sorted. So let's merge. Smaller one empty, take the remaining cards. So split. One card sorted. Two cards. Let's split. One card sorted, one card sorted. Now let's merge. Smaller one empty, take the rest. Let's merge these. Smaller one empty, take the remaining cards. Now let's merge these two. Smaller one, smaller one, smaller one, smaller one, empty, take the remaining cards. And now let's merge these two. Smaller one, smaller one. This deck is empty, take the remaining cards, and we have a sorted version of our deck. That's the idea of Mergesort. Now, how to code Mergesort, I will show you. This is the code of Mergesort. Let's find out how many cards do we have to sort. If this is only one single card, then nothing is to do. Let's return. If it's not one single card, then split the deck at position K, which is the middle, and in case of an odd number, we have to use that construct. Then let's split the first K cards and the remaining cards starting from K plus 1 and ending at position N. In the end, we will have a sorted deck consisting of N1 cards, and we have a second sorted deck consisting of N2 cards. And now let's merge. These are the counters which run through the decks. I1 runs through deck A1, I2 runs through deck A2, and I runs through the resulting A. As long as deck 1 is not empty and as long as deck 2 is not empty, let's compare the first cards of the two decks. If the smaller element is in A1, then let's take the element out of A1 and put it to A. So we have to step the position in A1. And if that is not true, then A2 holds the smaller element, and in that case take the element out of deck 2 and put it to the A and step I2 counter. And in either case step the counter of A. As long as the two decks are non-empty, we will proceed in this while loop, but sometime it will happen that one deck is empty. If the first deck is not empty, then take all of the remaining cards of A1. If this is not true, then deck 1 is empty and we take all the remaining cards out of A2. What do you see in the code? There is no sorting, there is only merge. Sort merge in the end means that we never sort and we only merge. And that is the principle of Mergesort, and that is the principle of a recursive algorithm. If you never have seen recursion before, this is very hard to understand. But if you work on that principle and if you examine several examples, then you will come into the logic of recursion. And I think it's very fascinating. Fascinating means not so easy in the first moment, but very, very powerful. And so it's worth thinking till you really understand. If you are not really familiar with the principle of recursion, then you have two things to learn here in this video. First, the principle of recursion, and second, the principle of Mergesort. Maybe it helps you illustrating a little bit. We run through the deck here using the counter I1. This deck consists of N1 cards. This deck consists of N2 cards. And we run through this deck using the counter I2. And this deck consists of N cards. And we are using the counter I to run through that deck. How do we merge? We compare these two cards. If this one is the smaller one, we take that card into that position, and then we increase I1. Then we compare these two elements. Let's say this element is the smaller one, then we take that card to that position. Then we compare these two elements, and let's say this one is holding the smaller value. Then let's take this card out of that deck and put it to here. Let's increase, in this case, I2 counter, and always increase the I counter. So to find out what is the card for that position, compare these two cards. Let's say this is the card. Then we increase I1. We take that card to that position. We increase I, and so on. And n, the number of cards here, is the sum of n1 and n2. That is the principle in our code. So this is the principle of merge sort.